Let's talk about website optimization. And I mean, let's really talk about it. Forget everything you thought you knew about redesigns because that whole model, it's on its way out. See, in 2025, the best websites won't be these static pages that just get a fresh coat of paint every couple of years. No, they're going to be living, breathing organisms that adapt to every single visitor in real time. Let's dive into what that shift actually looks like.
You know, for years, we've all used the same analogy. Your website is your digital storefront. You build it, you polish the glass, you set up the displays, and then, well, then you kind of just leave it alone, right? At least until the next big redesign season rolls around. It's a very predictable, very static way of thinking.
But just imagine for a second, what if that storefront could change its window display for every single person who walked by? What if it knew exactly what they were looking for, maybe even before they did? Because let's be honest, in today's crazy market, that old static approach is pretty much a recipe for being invisible. So let's dig into why it just doesn't cut it anymore.
So let's get specific. What exactly is the problem with this traditional storefront model? Well, it really boils down to a few key weaknesses that are becoming impossible to ignore.
Now, to be fair, the old way wasn't all bad. You had total creative control, which is great, and your A/B tests gave you these neat, structured results. But the downsides? Oof, they're becoming a huge problem. Iteration moves at a snail's pace. True personalization is basically a fantasy, and it's a massive resource drain on your design, dev, and marketing teams for every tiny little tweak.
So what gives? Why is this old, reliable method suddenly failing us? Well, it's not the method that's the problem. It's that the entire world around it has completely transformed. Just look at the pressures we're all facing. Customer acquisition costs are through the roof, which means every single visitor is more precious than ever. At the exact same time, people expect a personalized experience, like they get from Netflix or Amazon. A one-size-fits-all website just feels ancient now. The market moves in days, not months, and a classic A/B test just can't keep up. To stay in the game, you need to be optimizing, well, always. And this is where the game really, truly changes. Let's put the old school way head-to-head with this new AI-powered approach. At its heart, the difference is actually pretty simple. We are moving from a slow, manual process of making changes every few weeks or months to a system of real-time, automated adaptation that responds to every user instantly. And this table, wow. This is where the revolution becomes crystal clear. Just look at testing. We're going from A/B tests that take weeks to get a simple answer to continuous live testing that optimizes as you go. Or how about personalization? We're moving away from clunky rules to dynamic changes based on what a user is actually doing on the site. This isn't just an upgrade, it is a completely different way of operating.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how do you actually do this? It's not magic. It's about implementing the right frameworks and getting into a new kind of rhythm. You can really boil the whole process down into 3 key steps. First, you analyze. You got to understand where you are right now. Then you automate. This is where you plug in the AI tools to do the heavy lifting of creation and testing. And finally, and this is the most important part, you optimize, creating a system that is constantly learning and refining itself based on live data.
And this shows you why it's not some one-and-done project. It's a perpetual loop. Every visitor interaction feeds data back into the system, which makes the AI-driven design and personalization smarter for the next visitor. Your website literally gets better with every single click. You know, this quote from Bhaskar Thakur just hits the nail on the head. We're not talking about firing your creative team, not at all. We're talking about giving them superpowers to execute their vision in an unbelievably dynamic, data-driven way.
Okay, so we have this new philosophy and this new toolkit, but how do we actually know if it's working? And what are the risks? It's easy to get excited, but we have to be realistic about measuring success and navigating the challenges.
In this new world, your KPIs have to change too. It's not just about the final conversion rate anymore. You have to start measuring the speed of your learning. That's test velocity. How many different ideas can you test in a week? You also need to know if the personalized content is actually connecting with people, and that's where a personalization engagement score comes in. These new metrics tell you if the system itself is healthy. And let's just really land on that test velocity idea, because this is where the scale of this whole shift becomes kind of mind-boggling. With a traditional A/B test, you might carefully set up 2 versions of a headline and then wait 2 weeks for a winner. With an AI-powered approach, you're not testing two versions, you're testing hundreds of combinations of headlines, images, calls to action, all at the same time, all learning from each other in real time. The speed of learning isn't just faster, it is on a completely different planet.
Of course, this is not a magic bullet. You can't just turn on the AI and walk away. You could easily lose your brand's unique personality if you're not careful. You absolutely have to manage data privacy, and the whole system is useless without clean, high-quality data to power it. Human oversight is still absolutely critical.
So what does this all add up to? It's a fundamental reimagining of what a website even is.
So, if there is one thing you take away from all this, it's this. AI is the engine, but a human must always be in the driver's seat. It automates the tactics so that strategists, creatives, and marketers can focus on the big picture stuff. It enhances our strategy. It doesn't replace it.
And that leaves us with one final critical question to think about. Consider your own digital storefront. Is it a static relic built for a version of the internet that doesn't really exist anymore? Or is it a living, breathing entity that adapts and evolves with every single person who visits? The future's already here. The only question is whether your website will be part of it.